call to order the Committee on Public Services. The first item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is a motion to adopt the agenda.
Adoption of the agenda by Romano.
Support.
Romano adopts and Kraft supported. We have a vote.
The motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. If I can have a motion.
Chair, appears there is none.
There was. Okay, we'll have public participation.
Public participation.
What?
Approval of the minutes?
Yeah, approval of minutes. I'm sorry.
Vote on it.
There are none.
Yeah, there are no minutes.
We'll do it after vote.
Yeah, that's why it confused me.
That's why I confused me too, Mr. Farrington.
Yeah, we canceled our last meeting. Anyways, public participation is the first opportunity for public participation, which you will speak for a maximum of 3 minutes on any item on today's agenda. Second opportunity for public participation is for those who wish to speak on any issue. Anyone running through the room to do public participation? Seeing none, we're going to move on to item number 6 on the agenda. First item, number 6, is Resolution 2021-6804, resolution approving the assumption of the jurisdiction. You can read the rest of it. Actually, I'm going to ask for a motion for 6A and B.
Song makes the motion.
Support Wallace.
Vice Chair Song makes the motion. Wallace seconded it. Brian, if you can speak on it. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Good afternoon, Board.
Can you turn on the mic?
Oh.
On the bottom?
There you go.
There you go, thank you. It's good to be with you. The Public Works Office, as you know, and the Chapter 20 drain boards oversee the county drains. The county has 2 of the 475 county drains. 2 of those no longer serve the purpose that they were intended due to redevelopment in the city of Warren. And when Warren redeveloped their city center campus, they provided new storm outlet to the Bear Creek. So there are now 2 county drains that no longer serve the drainage district and only serve the local storm sewer drainage for the Warren City Center campus area. So it now makes sense for the city to manage these pipes and its drainage rather than the drainage district. So the city of Warren requested this relinquishment and they approved it. That they would take over these drains and therefore the district as well. Public Works has no objections to this. They will now be maintaining the drains and there is no outstanding debt in the drainage districts at all. The state drain code requires the Board of Commissioners to approve this as well as the local drainage boards. So as I said, Warren has approved the relinquishment. The next step is the Board of Commissioners approving it, and if you do, then we will take it to the drain boards next month, which Commissioner Nard sits on those boards. So finally, we have 2 resolutions before you tonight for your consideration, agreeing to the relinquishment of the center line relief, and item 6B would be the Springer drain, and again, those are both in the city of Warren. The center line relief is a portion of that drain. We have a map in the backup. And the Springer drain is the entire section of the Springer drain. And with that, I'll take any questions if there are.
Commissioner Romano?
Thank you, Chair. Brian, there wouldn't be any chance of an overflow on these drains because they're maintaining them that would go into any of the Sterling Heights drains, is there?
No, these are 100% Warren flow that would go to the Bear Creek.
Thank you. That's all I have, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sabatini.
Thank you, Chair. Hey, Brian. Is there any money in those drainage districts as far as those funds specifically? And if there is, what's going to happen with those funds?
So very few, I think it's less than 15,000 that we will transfer back to the city of Warren. It's their funds to begin with. So as they take over the Springer drain, that's primarily where the money is. So that will be transferred back to the city of Warren.
Is it named after Karen Springer?
Thank you, Chair.
Seeing no other speakers, Brian, appreciate very much. We do have a motion on the floor to recommend both 6A and B combined to the full board, and if we could have a vote.
Motion passes 11-0.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is 6C, resolution to complete the authority of the Michigan Department of Transportation to install a traffic pole at M19 and 32 Mile Road. Brian, welcome, and Brian, goodbye.
And good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you, Chair. This is a resolution for the MDOT project that they're looking at building at 32 Mile in Maine, in Richmond, and they're seeking basically a piece of our parcel that's owned by the Trail Commission to put a utility pole. So this is a resolution they're seeking. Basically says that we are allowing them to basically purchase.
Excuse me, Brian, before we go further, we never had a motion to recommend the full board.
So moved.
So moved by Hall, support by Romano. Go ahead, Brian, please continue.
So they're looking for a resolution basically outlining us, allowing them to secure this piece of square of property to install a signal pole for their upcoming project at that intersection. So seeking approval of this resolution.
Any questions? Seeing no speakers, if we can have a vote on the motion to recommend the full board.
Motion passes 11-0.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is resolution 2021-6745, resolution for the 26 Mile Connector Trail. I'd like to have a motion to recommend to full board.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Hall, supported by Romano. Brian, please.
Yes, thank you. This is another resolution seeking approval to approve MDOT bid construction and maintenance of a 26 Mile Connector Trail. This will connect the trail that's existing on 26 Mile Road to the Stony Creek Trail. This is sought by Huron Clinton Metro Parks. They had acquired TAP grants, and anything that isn't covered by the TAP grants will be covered by the Huron Clinton Metro Park Authority. So we are the Act 51 agency, so this is a resolution basically stating that we are the fiduciary. The project will run through us. They will pay for everything, and they will maintain it after the project is complete.
Seeing no speakers, we do have a motion to recommend full board. Please vote.
Motion passes 11-0.
Next item on the agenda is 6E. This is a contract with Asphalt Specialists Incorporated for the 26 Mile Road and County Line intersection improvement. I'd like to have a motion to recommend to full board. Moved by Kraft. Support. Support by Van Sickle. Brian?
Yes, seeking approval to award a bid and contract to Asphalt Specialists Incorporated for intersection improvements in Lenox and Chesterfield Townships, adjacent to two communities in St. Clair at 26 Mile and County Line. It's to make improvements, right turn lanes for eastbound 26 and northbound County Line, as well as overlaying the existing pavement on all legs of the intersection. So seeking award of this contract to Asphalt Specialists Incorporated, and the total construction cost of $528,900.
Thank you, Commissioner Song. Vice Chair Song.
Thank you, Chair. Is this a cost-sharing agreement? Who's going to pay for the remainder?
This is not a cost share, this is actual contract. So the cost share we had approved by the townships, both Chesterfield and Lenox. We are paying as a Department of Roads 75% of the intersection, with a balance of the 25%, 15% with Chesterfield, and 10% with Lennox.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome,
Chair.
thank you.
Seeing no other Commissioner Sabatini.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry about that last minute. Hey, Brian, just on this one here, there's not a vendor release, there's just the actual, I guess the full package is not here for review. I'm just curious if it was missed.
I will look into that, and if there's anything that's outstanding, I'll have that sent over.
Thank you.
Seeing no other speakers, we do have a motion to recommend to full board. Please vote.
The motion passes 11-0.
Thank you very much. We're going to combine 6F and G since they're both Mountain Road. So I'd like to have a motion to recommend to full board the combination of the two.
So moved.
So moved by Romano, support by Van Sickle. Brian, go ahead.
Yes, we had previously received and had approval to accept awarding of monies that were allocated for a crossover for northbound to southbound on Mound just south of 15 Mile Road. We completed that project, and there was monies left over in the amount of $23,518.55, and we got approval to basically have a contract amendment reducing the amount for that and applying that same amount to the Innovate Mound project to increase and reduce the funding gap and apply it towards that project. So seeking approval of both 6F and G as far as the monies are concerned.
Seeing no speakers, we do have a motion to recommend to full board. Please vote.
The motion passes 11-0.
Thank you very much. Next item is 6H. This is the cost share agreement with Lynn Township Cass Avenue Trail. I'd like to have a motion to recommend to full board.
Matusik moves.
So moved by Romano, support by
Matusik.
Matusik. Thank you very much, Brian.
Yes, this is seeking approval of the cost share agreement between the Department of Roads and Clinton Township for the construction of the Cass Avenue Trail at a total cost of $1,777,500. This is in conjunction, so we allowed our bridge project to combine with the bridge addition of a walkway that's under construction currently. So this project is everything outside of that. And this is the agreement as outlined as far as cost share participation. So seeking approval of this cost share with Clinton Township.
Thank you, Commissioner Romano.
Thank you, Chair. Brian, is this, I'm sure it is, I just want to verify, this is the piece that's just west of Moravian, where they're doing all the construction on the bridge on Cass? How big of an area are they, are we doing, they doing just the, you said the side paths for walkways, is that what you're saying?
Yes. So this is going to go, I believe, from George Park on Moravian, goes up Cass, down Clinton River Road to the park that's River Bends, I think.
Got it. Thank you. That's all I have, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Seeing no other speakers, we do have a motion to recommend to full board. Please vote.
The motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is 6I, the cost share agreement with Huron Clinton Metro Authority, construction of the 26-mile connector trail. I'd like to have a motion to recommend to full board. Moved by Sabatini, support by Wallace. Thank you. Brian?
Yes, seeking approval of the cost share agreement. This relates to the resolution as far as the Huron Clinton Metro Authority, construction of the connector trail between the Stony Creek Trail and the trail on 26 Mile Road. So this basically outlines the fact that we are not contributing monetarily, but we are the fiduciary as far as the TAP grant is concerned in the construction of this, and that the maintenance is going to be passed on, obviously, to the Huron Clinton Metro Authority in the future after it's built. So this is the cost share agreement seeking approval.
Thank you. Commissioner Van Sickle?
Thank you, Chair. I'm all in favor of connecting these trails and everything, but some places, there's very limited parking for people to go and park and take their bikes off and go enjoy these, or park and go walk, or whatever they do. I'd sort of like to see something done here and there to alleviate that. I don't have any specific suggestions, but I'd like you to take that under advisement.
Thank you, Commissioner. And as a matter of fact, we have looked and spoken with various communities, Shelby Township being one of them, as far as improvements to vehicle parking and access to the trails at different locations. So I know there's different communities looking for funding opportunities for that, to improve areas that people can park, close to the trail and have access to it, so.
Yeah, it's great if you live within a half a mile or a mile or so of the trail, but if you don't, and you want to have to drive over there, and you don't want to ride your bicycle on busy roads
For sure.
to get there, you're sort of stuck. Anyway, thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner.
Commissioner Matuzak?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At one point, I think Commissioner Sabatini had wondered if we actually have a list of all these non-motorized trails that we partner with. And I know that's not particularly the roads department, but...
Correct. We are usually the fiduciary of TAP grants. We don't take ownership of sidewalks and paths. I know the planning department, I think, has a more comprehensive listing or database of, Iron Bell Trail and Macomb Orchard Trail and stuff like that.
Right, because we just keep approving these, but I don't have a sense of where they actually all are.
Yes. That'd be a function more, I think, of a planning perspective as far as the actual locations and maps.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Seeing no other speakers? Oh, wait a minute, Commissioner Sabatini at the last minute again. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Just to follow up with Commissioner Matuzak, I did not receive any of that. I would have shared it with the board, so maybe if our office could follow up with planning to get that, I'm sure it benefits everybody, so, thank you, Chair.
I see the board chair shaking his head, so that's going to be done. Excellent. Commissioner Van Sickle, second time?
I'll chime in to Commissioner Matuzak also. You may want to check SEMCOG's website. They have extensive trail maps on the SEMCOG website, which Macomb County is a member of. But you don't need, anybody in public can get to them. Thank you, Chair.
All right, excellent dialogue. If we can have a vote on motion to recommend to full board.
The motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. We're on item 6J, this cost share agreement with St. Clair Shores, Harper Avenue, 9 Mile, Little Mac. I'd like to have a motion to recommend to full board.
I'll move.
Second.
Moved by Kleinfeld, supported by Hall. Brian?
Yes, Commissioners, this is seeking approval of a cost share agreement with the City of St. Clair Shores for a project on Harper Avenue from 9 Mile to Little Mac, as far as concrete pavement repairs. And this once again outlines the 50-50 participation with that project, so seeking approval of that cost share. County cost would be $149,869 with a total cost of $299,738.
Seeing no speakers, Commissioner Sabatini, did you want to? Okay, just making sure. We have a motion for the full board if you can vote.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, there we go. Commissioner Kleinfeld. I stalled just for that reason.
So you probably know, I think we've talked about, there's a member of City Council in East Point where I can't have a conversation. I say hello and they look at me and say Harper. So is this the last portion of what the members of council over there have had an issue with from here, really from Little Mac all the way down to 8 Mile? Do you know if this is the last portion of what they have, with you, taken issue with, or is there more?
This is probably not complete in its entirety, what they're looking for.
Okay.
But this is, I know we had a project down there that we were wrapping up and had wrapped up. The city had some additional funding that they were looking to apply, and it just made sense with establishing a separate project versus trying to put it into that project, because the costs were going to escalate.
Oh, I heard that there
astronomically.
was a discussion about that, okay.
Yes, so the most bang for the buck per se, was to have a separate project that would encompass more repair work than trying to dump the additional money they had into that current project.
Okay, so I might hear the street name for a little bit while longer. Okay, thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Seeing no other speakers, if we can have a vote for the motion to recommend to full board.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. And final one on 6 is K, the cost share agreement, Warren Sterling Heights and Vape Mound project. If I could have a motion to recommend to full board. So moved by Wallace, support?
Support.
Support by Van Sickle, right?
Yes, Commissioners, this is, once again, a cost share agreement with the city of Sterling Heights and Warren to move forward with, obviously, the Emery Mound project. This outlines the percentages of participation with the construction and engineering oversight moving forward. You've seen many cost shares and contracts to this point that was based on the design and prep work. This is the actual construction and oversight moving forward. So seeking approval of the cost share agreement as presented.
Vice Chair Song?
Thank you, Chair. Brian, there are residents who are not happy about the Innovate Mound project not going south of 10 Mile. So I know we talked about this before, but I want to mention it again. And I think you got the photos I took of Mound between 9 and 10 Mile. There's no curb at all. And I think it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable for our residents. And so I would urge you to find ways to fund that part of Mound, because I think it's just as important as north of 10 Mile. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. As we talked previously, the logical termini for the Emery Mound project, being the size that it is, was 696 to Hall Road, but that doesn't mean that we haven't been in discussions as far as Mound between 8 and 10 Mile. So that is on our listing. We are looking for ways of funding that, and maybe hopefully through the infrastructure bills and stuff that's coming through legislature, we can have some additional funding to advance that section of roadway. Thank you.
Commissioner Brown?
Thank you. Is this an amendment? Is this part of the original, wasn't there an original agreement like this previously? And was this just recently amended to include additional work?
No, this is, Warren passed this with their board probably 3 or 4 months ago, and we were working with City of Sterling Heights to get their board to approve it, and they, as recently, had approved it through our discussions and negotiations. So this is the cost share as presented for that Innovate Mound project for the construction and inspection and testing portion of it.
So there's no changes or modifications made to the original proposal?
No. This is the original cost share presented before you. The other cost shares were, like I said, were for the design, the oversight, HNTB's, owner rep participation and stuff like that. So we had, like I said, negotiated with Warren getting it. They approved it months ago. We were looking at Sterling Heights. They were concerned about sidewalk on the east side, which we're not a sidewalk commission, but we worked it out where they will pay additional monies for installation of sidewalk 100% on their own. As part of this project, it would be non-participating, just like the municipal work. So Warren and Sterling Heights both are kicking in 100% for sanitary and water main work in conjunction with this project, but it has 100% municipal cost, but it is incorporated in this project.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Romano?
Thank you, Chair. Brian mentioned you had $24,000 over. Can we put that towards the sidewalks? No, I'm just kidding. Something to alleviate some of the costs for Sterling Heights. Brian, I hear you, we see this all the time where it says cost-sharing agreement. Who determines the percentage, 50, 40, 60, whatever it is, 50, 50? Who determines the cost share and of the percentage amount of what the county pays to what the municipalities pay?
We have standards in past practice of which roads, if it's a primary road, typically it's a 50-50 cost share. So say we were to get 80% federal funding, then the balance of the 20%. If it's a primary road, it is 10% us, 10% the community. If it's considered a local road designation, then it's a 60-40, 60% on the community, 40% on the primary roads.
Is that all written in stone?
Yes, we have that we send out every year to all communities, so that everybody's on the level playing field as far as what certain roads cost and what participation is required.
Right, non-negotiable.
Correct.
Thanks. Thank you, Chair.
And that's our county's agreement at some point, or is that a state or a federal thing?
There's certain guidelines required by Act 51, like local roads. If we do heavy maintenance on local roads, we as a department can only spend up to 50% on that. If it's considered preventive maintenance, we can pay for 100% of that. If it's a single lift overlay, we do some of that in Harrison Township, some of the communities that maybe don't have as much funding, but if it's considered preventive maintenance, that is allowed to go above the 50% participation. But if it's a local road and heavy maintenance, heavy mill and fill or concrete replacement or asphalt replacement, we can spend a maximum of 50% on local roads. Primary, there's no stipulation, but that's on local.
Thank you. Commissioner Van Sickle?
Thank you, Chair. So from the title of this, I'm to believe that the other 180 million is coming up with Warren and Sterling Heights themselves. This is not any state money in that 180 million?
We have federal participation through the infra grant of almost 98 million. So that is a supplement. So we were seeking 60%, up to 60% maximum funding. We didn't get the full 60%, so it's basically like a 45% funding through the 98 million we did get. And the balance is between us, Sterling Heights, and Warren. So the Department of Roads is whatever's outside of the 98 million or whatever other money we hopefully get. We are paying half of it, and then the communities are paying the other half of the balance.
Okay, so the feds are kicking in about 90, and then Warren and Sterling Heights together are kicking in about 90? And then we're doing 61 something?
The overall project total, if you look at design, construction, oversight, testing, all that, is about 250 million total. So take almost 100 million off of that, so that leaves 150 million. So we're paying about half of that, and then the communities are paying 1/3, 2/3 out of that other half.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was a lot for Sterling Heights and Warren to be paying. I didn't know the feds were putting in any money into this.
Yes, like I said, we were seeking the infra grant we actually were seeking about 130 million in change, and we got 98 million, just shy of 98 million, which was, instead of 60%, it was about 45%.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Seeing no other speakers, we do have a motion before us to recommend to the full board. Please vote.
How do we relieve you?
Come on, I didn't think it was that,
Motion passes 12-0.
Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, Commissioners. Have a good day.
All right, item number 7, correspondence. We do have Department of Roads Project Information Sheet 7A. If I can have a motion to receive and file.
I'll move A and B.
I will take the motion for A and B by Kleinfeld, support by Romano. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Excellent, we're on to new business. And we have a couple. Nope. No, we do. No, sorry.
The blue details button.
There we go. Vice Chair Song.
Thank you, Chair. So I was driving here earlier and I saw a billboard on 12 Mile west of Groesbeck. It was a veterans billboard, I believe, but there was a photo of the executive on the billboard as well. And I would like to ask staff if we can find out how much these billboards are costing, because I've had complaints from residents as well about the use of funds for these billboards. There are some that are COVID related, but I think for the veterans one, I think it would be more appropriate to have a veterans, if there is anyone on that billboard. So if we could have staff find out what the cost of these billboards are and where the fund is coming from, which department, I would love to know. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll second that, and also those ads are also electronic, because I'm getting them on my computer. So,
At the gas station, gas pumps.
Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Thank you, Chair. Over a period of several meetings, at least 4 commissioners have requested a copy of the contract from the PR firm. I understand there is a copy in existence. If we could have that emailed to us before the end of today, since we're going to have an early meeting, I would appreciate that. If we can't have it, I'll address it tomorrow, but I'd like to have that before the end of the day. 4 commissioners have requested it, and we don't have gatekeepers. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? I have no one else on the list. Commissioner Wallace.
Okay, so I just wanted to say Commissioner Song and myself attended the, I don't know if it's a grand opening, if it's an association, but there was a new association, the Black Business Association of Macomb. They had their first open event in East Point, and I just thought it was a good event. And the association is not just for Black businesses, but it was created primarily because during the pandemic it was asked for a list of minority-owned businesses in Macomb County, and no one could supply it. And I helped Metro Equity with a Black business, Black Excellence vendor show. So they received that list, which by no means even hits the board of the minority-owned businesses in the county that we have. So, just something that an association that just wants to help more businesses get out there and reach their goals of excelling. So it was a good event, and I'm glad Commissioner Song was able to be a part of it. But that's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Wallace. If you can get that information to me, I deal with business community a lot, so I appreciate it. Commissioner Romano.
Just short and sweet again. I really think it's time again to thank our staff. They're running so short with personnel. Yet, I haven't noticed a blip. I don't know if anybody else has, or a bump in the road. And they're doing it with a total of 3, if I'm not mistaken. And they're really doing a yeoman's job of it, and I really think that they need to be recognized for it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Agreed, and thank you for speaking up. I think we all concur with that. Seeing no other speakers, we're going to move on to public participation. I'm not even going to bother saying the words because no one's here. I did try to recruit somebody, though. She didn't show up. So, if I could have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Romano, support by Nard. Vote for adjournment.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you, everyone.
See everybody tomorrow.
Thanks.